What is up, guys? I'm posting a video on YouTube. I've been terrible with it, so I don't even know when my last video was. I recorded one like 3 months ago and didn't put it on. I was like, this is a 5-6 month old video and I'm gonna put it up, and then I ended up not doing it. But a lot to talk about if I ever get around to it. Basically, I was just doing life. Now I live in South Carolina. So yeah, there's been a lot going on with me as far as my personal life, but y'all don't even care because we're all about the locks. And I have to say, I'm pretty happy with the way they're coming out. If I'm right, and I'll look back, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm like a year and 2 or 3 months into my dreads. And here they are. I wear them down a good amount. I wear them up. Kind of give a small tour of what they look like. So yeah, there's that side and this. Congos are still going pretty strong. I've done a good amount of maintenance throughout since y'all see me. I let it go for a while, and then I came back and did some maintenance about 2 months later, and then I let it go for about, I don't know, I'd say probably 4 months or something. And a couple days ago I did, well, basically just through this last week I've been doing a lot of maintenance. I'm pretty pale because I haven't been in the sun. Obviously, I'm in South Carolina, and it's just now starting to get pretty hot, but it's raining a good amount, and I'm not outside as much as I used to be. So pardon the ghostly figure. But yeah, these are my dreads. They look better in camera than they actually are, but they're pretty good. I got some loose hair up here. Sometimes it's up, but it's typically down in my face, and it kind of gives it a full, like the more full look, and I enjoy that. But up top, I try to keep it all pulled in. I just been using a normal crochet hook. I still have some that's getting pulled out again, but that's a never-ending battle with dreadlocks, and you got to know that going into them. And yeah, hopefully you guys that were watching, if they didn't have them, and comment and let me know. And I will check them out and keep in contact with you, subscribe. I love dreads. I still do. I've gone through moments where I want to cut them and then go back, and I'm super glad that I didn't. I get that probably once a week where I'm like, alright, when I wake up, I'm cutting them. Or like I'm in the middle of the night and I'm just pissed because my dreads are pissing me off because they're not the funnest things to sleep with. And I'm like, I'm cutting them, but it never ends up happening because at the end of the day, I'm super glad that I have these things. Here's this Ziggy one, real loopy, from a long time ago. What I've seen is that it just kind of starts going down. Like when I started it, the loop was up here, and besides like normal growth, like it like literally slides down, and all of this is natural dreaded, which is pretty awesome to see. I mean, that's pretty cool. That one that was loopy is already kind of figured out and not really doing that anymore. But I do have one here. If I can find it, yeah, there it is. It's starting to get some loops. Literally within a week, it did all of that, which is crazy. I think the humidity's getting to them, so it's getting a lot of loose hairs out. But it's all good. It's just forcing me to do some work because they get to a point where I'm like, I can't do this anymore if I'm going to keep them. And so it forces me to do some work, and that's always good. And then I'm super happy with the way they look, so it's always worth it. But it's kind of tedious. I blunted some of my ends, not much really. They're mostly all frayed out, which kind of keeps you from, I don't know, it makes the locking process, I want to say faster, but the tips are kind of frayed, and so they kind of start fraying up, but they'll stop at a certain point because, you know, that's probably the highest that it frays down to. I mean, that's a lot of hair that's not dreaded right there, but I don't know, I like the look. I love them. So it's all good in the hood. Here I'll show you my Congos that have been with me for a while. I've had some problems, and I'll give some tips on Congos. This is my best Congo. You can see how it kind of started going. It used to like split right here, and then it started kind of dreading down together, because obviously that's what hair does. Still got that bead in. And yeah, I mean, my hair's grown a lot. I mean, it's a year and 2 or 3 months. So, but then this is my other Congo, which isn't as good. I don't know if you can see it very well in the video, but it's not near as thick as this one is. And so this one, when it splits into it, it doesn't have like a ton of hair to dread. I mean, it's dreaded, but this one literally is like frayed from here down, and this is dreaded. And there's always a good amount of hair between them, and I've done some work. That's why it's kind of sticking out like that. Like I just hadn't pulled that back in. But nothing the little palm rolling won't fix, which is always good. And don't be religious with your palm rolling. I mean, it's never like a super bad thing, but if you're grinding it all real hard, you're going to do a lot of damage to your hair, which in turn is not going to be good for your dreads. That you're most likely not going to see that damage until 1 or 2 months afterwards. Then you're like, man, why is it not dread? No, it's because the hair's weak, because I was palm rolling it like a freaking savage. Just got to be careful. I really don't palm roll all that much. I mean, obviously, I've got a life, and I don't sit in school anymore because I'm out of school. So it's less time just sitting down, besides like when I'm working. So it's like not necessarily the easiest thing to palm roll every freaking dread. I mean, it's just not going to happen. It can, I guess, if you do it, but I don't do it all that much. And I'm pretty happy with the way I've got my own look, and this is just kind of what they're doing, and I'm happy with it. I'm glad I got dreads, never regret the decision. Looking at them now, especially in the video, it's cool to see kind of where they came from, and it's really awesome to see the growth, like the length, and then also they're a lot more locked up, which a year and however long I've had them will do, because that's what time does. Let me get some music on. If I can. But yeah, there it is. I hate this song. I'm going to see if I can skip this. Sorry, this video is going to be long, but it's much needed because I haven't done videos in a long time. This one will do. Alright. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, time is going to lock your dreads up, which is very obvious, like duh, but at the same time it's just cool. It's cool to see like actually happen. I've had these things for a year, and I remember when I was like dying waiting for 6 months to come around, and that seems like just yesterday, but a lot's happened since then. And after the newness of, oh man, I just got dreads kind of wears off, you're watching them less, you get back into the groove of things of normal life, and time slips away like nature has it. So it kind of just slips up on you like, oh dang man, I've had these for a good amount of time. And it's cool. It's cool to look at them. I don't know really, I don't know where to go from here. I've got a lot that I'm sure you guys would want to know, but here, this bead here, it was over here. I don't know if you remember. It's like up here somewhere, but it isn't there anymore because it slid out. And so I put it back here because this is real thick right here. So I just, here's a little tip. For putting beads on, I always twist my dread real tight. Maybe hold it at the root so it doesn't twist too hard there. But if you twist it real tight, it'll get thinner, obviously. And then you slide the bead up, and then you let go, and it goes back to however thick it was. So that's how I did it, because it's a little thinner up here, and then it gets thick, and that's kind of why I did it, because I know it's not going to slide out if I have it there. Other things, I get a lot of loose hair like around this area, and I've done a lot of maintenance right here to pull it in. But on this side, I've got a lot more to do, as you can see. But some of that's going to stay and really doesn't belong anywhere, and it's not enough to make another dread. Which leads me into my next thing of, if you remember a long time ago, I started that one dread out of the stuff that I just used to always tuck behind my ear, and it started naturally dreading. I was like, I'm gonna roll with it, and it is awesome just to see it happening, because it's literally from here all the way to here is dreaded, and this is like a tight dread because it naturally dreaded, which you can't beat. Yeah, so I mean, it's at the root, it's got like all this loose hair, but tuck it behind my ear and it's gonna do its thing. I mess with it every once in a while, kind of fluff the hair out, do some finger rolling, and get it going. But yeah, these are my dreads. I'm so happy. Especially, like I said, it's fun to, whether it's a YouTube channel or just videos on your computer, like, just to look back. Like, I started where I started, which was, if you remember, like a friggin' disaster, and then here they are. So I'm not gonna say, like, no matter how your dreads start, don't worry, just give patience, but I'm kind of gonna say that, because mine started, they were literally sectioned twice as big as this, and I wasn't gonna have that. I had too much of my scalp showing, and it was stupid. I don't know, for me, I had 40 dreads, and for me, that was not gonna cut it, because it was showing too much of my scalp, and I didn't like it, and I have really straight hair, so it's not gonna poof up all that much. So I had to go through, take every single one of them out, besides this real ziggy one, which ended up working out in my favor, because it's cool, makes it unique. But I had to go through, and it took about 2 weeks, and I literally just like dumped a freaking bottle of conditioner on it, and finally, without trying to not break the hairs, got it undone using the comb a little bit, picking at it, and then I got it, and then I would wash the hair twice, and then I would wash it in, so to get all the conditioner out, because you don't want to re-dread with conditioner in it, obviously. Then I would run salt water in it, and I would soak it in salt water for about 30 to 40 seconds, and I would let that sit, and I would let that naturally dry. So it's going to dry the hair, and then it's going to, obviously lock real good and get it in a good condition to lock. And then I would go through after that dried, kind of fluff it up, mess with it. I had a little locking powder. I would put some locking powder in it. Actually, at that time, I'm sorry, I didn't have the locking powder, but I'd put some locking powder in it, throw it up, boom, and start doing it. And so now I have twice as many dreads, because I turned each big section into a smaller section, making two, which in some cases I didn't do good with sectioning the hair, and so it resulted in congos, which in this case I wish that wouldn't have happened, but in this case I'm glad it did, because it's cool and it works. Yeah, another thing, it's crazy, I've got so much to talk about because I haven't talked to you guys in forever. I had a lot of dreads that, like I said, I have I don't know if it's curly hair too, I'm sure it is, maybe even more with curly hair, but at the roots, it would try to Congo, because you can't get every single hair in, and then one hair goes over, and it kind of starts bringing it together, and it starts dreading, and then it pulls all of them in, and so at the very root, you have some, and last resort on some of them, I had to literally just section the hair out and get it to where it was like clumped together. I knew what went into each dread, and I would snip it and cut it, ball it up, put some locking powder on it, put my crochet hook through, and weave it in and out in through the dread. And it worked. I mean, my dreads are super strong on my head. That's definitely not a problem. My dreads are healthy. My hair's healthy. I wash it like once a week with, I've gone longer without washing it. But I wash it once a week because I don't do a lot of sweating activities anymore. And I wash it once a week. Keep the hair healthy, keep my scalp healthy, keep my scalp from flaking, get a good wash cycle down. Your hair will get used to it. Your scalp will start producing the oils on a more of a cycle instead of a random, okay, well, my dreads are dirty and I'm going to wash them. If you do that, then it's like your head can't get used to a cycle of releasing oil, and then that's when you get greasy dreads or a lot of loose hair, because obviously if your hair is greasy, hair is going to slip. You're going to have hair everywhere. So I just wash it, keep it clean. I really don't know what else to talk about, but they're coming along really good for you guys that are catching up and see that I posted a new video. And again, I'm sorry, like, that I haven't, but it's life, you know? Sure, I'm not the only one. Since moving here, I was just being real being real cautious about mold, because moving from California to South Carolina, it's obviously super humid here, like crazy humid. I can't even breathe outside, and there's a lot of mosquitoes, which sucks. But the humidity in the air will cause hydration in your dreads, and then potentially could cause mold. Not a good thing. Then you have to cut your dreads out if it gets too bad. Never had to experience that because I wash it. Make sure you dry it. Make sure you dry it good. I would say sun dry it because that's just the way I typically always do it. Then keep that salt water in it. And if you do end up getting any sort of mold, I would use like tea tree oil and baking soda. You can find a mixture online. Or like, I think they said apple cider vinegar. And that'll kill the mold. Soak it for about an hour. Let it out. Let it dry by itself. And then rinse it out. And from what I hear, it'll be pretty nasty. But you'll clean your dreads and you won't have to cut them. Which in return will be like way better than cutting them and being depressed for a year. Like I'm sure I would have been if I would have had to. So yeah. I don't know if I want to say anything else. But these are my dreads. Thank you guys for watching and being along for this ride again. Sorry for not posting. Oh yeah, now my dreads are at a length where I can do the whole, because I remember when I first got them, I was like, I can't wait until they're long enough that I can do the thing where you pull them up by themselves, and now I can. Though I do come into a little bit of problem with some of them up front, like these, and that was a really terrible job of doing it. But yeah, wow, that looks crappy. But with this, sometimes if I'm like running or something, it'll fall out because it's not necessarily long enough to go all the way back and in. And when that happens, I just tuck it. I literally just loop it underneath one that is, and then like maybe loop it underneath another one that is under the, other dreads to keep it in. And yeah, I would suggest not keeping your hair up, whether it's a ponytail or like that. That's better than a ponytail. But I remember when I first got them, I kept my hair in a ponytail a good amount, and I had some, I can't show you now because I palm rolled it out over time, it fixed. But with being up tight and like, super tight up here, it's going to get used to that rubber band being around it, especially if it's wet. Your hair is going to start doing that and naturally forming that. And it's fine when it's in a ponytail, but then when you bring it down, you have some dreads that are like bent like that. And they'll start dreading that way, and they will form that way in turn causing loops or just crazy ass looking dreads. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got to say. I know I've said that multiple times. Maybe I haven't. I don't know. But here they are, and I'm super happy with them. A year and I think 2 months, maybe 3 months. I don't know. But yeah. Going good. See, like that. Just do my thing, do my grind. Alright guys, have a good one. See you later, thanks for watching.